Erin, what's your one word that you're feeling present to for this episode?
I think I'm going to have to go with authenticity.
Oh, you stole mine. Okay, well, this is
We
a
can
great way.
say.
It's a great way for us to start. I'm going to jump in. We're both feeling very authentic.
I think that's perfect because honestly, that's one of the reasons we're starting this podcast. This is really the energy that brought us to this point. So I think the fact that we're both feeling that is perfect timing and it's perfect for this kickoff.
I agree. It's kind of beautiful.
Yeah,
Well,
very
hi,
poetic.
everyone. Very poetic. Hi, everyone. I'm Jessica H. Maurer, and I'm joined today by my fit and flustered co host,
Yes.
Erin.
Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Erin Nitschke, and I am excited to be co hosting this with my friend and colleague, Jess. And I think what we are excited for is just taking you all on this journey and being in this together authentically and unapologetically real about who we are and where we're at in this moment in our lives.
Absolutely. Erin and I both have been in the fitness industry for a really long time. And we have seen the industry change and evolve. We've seen ourselves change and evolve. And one thing that we've noticed, though, is that there's still this quiet undercurrent of if you're struggling physically, mentally, emotionally, don't talk about it. In our industry, we're kind of told to suffer through it, to teach when you're injured, to teach when you're tired, then maybe you're going through a health crisis and you don't feel like you have the space or the capacity to talk about it with other fitness professionals. And that was the reason we started this podcast. We wanted to kind of change that stigma. We wanted to be able to share stories, our own personal stories, our own health journeys as fitness professionals, as well as host other fitness professionals so they can share their own stories, whether it's their personal journeys or it's journeys that they've seen their clients go through.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the things that the industry does a great job of is education, right? Always churning out CECs and education on this topic, particularly like women's health and how to coach women in a specific phase of life. But like you said, there's that quiet sort of undercurrent, this expectation that you yourself, though you will go through that particular part of life yourself, we don't talk about it and we don't do a good enough job of showing up and saying like, this is where I'm at right now. I'm going to be unapologetic about it, but I'm going to be real. And I think we, in doing that, overlook the value that it gives our clients, which is that sense of relatability. Isn't that one thing that we want our clients to feel from us, is that they can relate to us? And to do that, you have to be authentic about your own journey and be very real about being in the space that you're in, whether it's I'm really exhausted or like Jess, you were saying earlier, like how your Christmas was just crazy and all of the things happened all at once, and being okay with stating out loud, like I'm overwhelmed and I'm not feeling it today. And we don't do a good enough job of showing up in that space and authentically. Instead, we kind of put on this mask of like, we're always on, we always show up in a particular way. And that just isn't real life. It's just not.
It's so true. And I think in times where you're feeling overwhelmed or you know that you're hurt, you're dealing with an injury, whether that's mental, emotional, or physical, we don't talk about how do you get help. As a fitness professional, we are often tied to the clock. We earn money when we're physically capable of moving, when we are with clients, when we're teaching classes. But what happens when you're in pain? What happens when you're unable to do that? How do you have a support system, or how do you build a support system that allows for you to still be authentically there for your clients, but also making sure that they're in the best hands moving forward? What are your how do your subs work, right? How do you get people to take your classes or your clients so that you can have downtime? And it's things that we don't necessarily always talk about in our industry. We save it for big things, right? Like, oh, if you've got the flu or you've got COVID, obviously don't come to work. But what if you have so much overwhelm when it comes to your home life? Are you really able to come in and support your clients in the way that you should? So we're going to talk through a lot of these things during our season of Fit and Flustered, being able to share with you things that we've learned through our own career, as well as things that we've maybe experienced by watching others or by seeing our own clients go through. And to give you a little backstory, if we back up a little bit as to why we started this crazy thing. We are of that age, aren't we, Erin?
Yes, we are, Jen.
We
Not
are.
not that I like am really excited about it, but we're there. And I think we have a duty and an obligation to just peel back those layers, strip off all of the mask and the pretend like yes we're okay, we're fine, and just really dig in and talk about it. And I feel like that is going to empower our other fitness industry colleagues. There's a lot of us that are in this like mid space of life, and we're just not talking about it, and we need to talk about it. We need to process it.
Yes, and we need to be able to share
Yeah.
what symptoms are we going through in perimenopause as we head into menopause. Because the more that
Mhm.
we can talk about the things that we're going through, the more that we can see that we're not alone, that we're not the
Yeah.
only ones going through this, and that this weird one-off symptom you might have is actually more common in perimenopause than you ever thought, like
Right.
itchy ears.
Yeah. What is that?
So strange.
What?
Right? Don't like it. Big no on that. Hard unsubscribe.
Yeah, hit that unsubscribe button for sure.
Right? But when we can come together and we can talk about our experiences going through things like perimenopause, going through health scares where we didn't know what was going on. We just knew that we didn't feel good is a way that we can help other fitness professionals be a little bit more honest about their own fitness journeys.
Yeah, and to kind of remove that fear of talking about it. And I feel like for as long as we've been in the industry, there is this sort of expectation from the maybe consumer side, but also the pressure we put on ourselves. And I think the industry puts on us as well is like we're these perfect specimens of perfect health and well-being, and we got it all together. No, we don't. No, we don't. I mean, on any average Tuesday, I feel like a hot mess. And so stripping away some of that fear and just saying like, hey, we just need to come out and talk about it because we are all walking the same human journey. This is our first time humaning. So it's natural that we're going to feel off and not feel well. And it's important to normalize talking about that struggle and digging into like how difficult it is to get help or the weird things that you're dealing with that you think is just yours to own, when in fact it's like a part of a cluster of a bunch of other symptoms that women deal with, but we just don't talk about because frankly I don't think Western medicine is that up on all of it yet. Like it's getting there, but it's not, and that then adds to the struggle.
And we're really seeing this surge
Mhm.
of perimenopause and menopause conversations on social media and in the media in general. And while we're talking about how to deal with symptoms, not a lot of people are actually talking about how do you deal with symptoms in the workforce. Like, yes, you're going through these mood changes and maybe you've got some rage issues. I know personally I do. Maybe you're dealing with hot flashes, you're not sleeping well at night. These are all symptoms that people are telling you is coming or that maybe they're experiencing currently, but no one's really given you some tools of like, well, what do you do in those situations when you got to teach 4 classes the next day and you've got 10 clients, or you've got a big presentation to give to the education company you're working for, or the, the university that you're teaching at. And so hopefully over these next few episodes, we're gonna share with you some tips and some tricks of we've learned or our guests have learned of
Yeah.
like how do you deal with this, because we can't just hide from it. We need to be talking about it, and we can't let it take us out. We need to adjust to it. And so
Yeah.
how do we kind of take these steps forward of knowing that we're going through different health crises? How do we function after that? How do we keep progressing forward without wanting to curl up in a tiny little ball?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think too, just being able to come out and say, like, this is part of the journey and being able to be very honest about it is something that really is where our source of power lies. You know, there is this sort of overt message that this point in a woman's life, this midpoint is like, it's the end of everything and you're biologically irrelevant is something that just really lights my fire. Just so rude. But there are things like that I feel are creating, again, this stigma around this point in your life that then you internalize and think, yeah, like, all right, well, that was a good 40-year run. Guess I'm done. And that's not the case. But because we don't really talk about it, it's very easy to like revert into that space and really sort of sink into that misperception that it really is the end and everything is changing. While that's true, everything is changing. It's not true that it's the end. And there are ways to handle it, navigate it, mitigate it. And part of that starts with just supporting each other and talking about it in a real honest, authentic way.
Which is what we're here for. And we hope that you guys listening out there, you're here for it as well. We are Fit and Flustered, everyone. And we're so excited that you're joining us. We're going to try to keep most of these episodes about 15 minutes in length so they're easily listenable and digestible. Maybe if you're in between clients or you're on the way to teach your next class, you can kind of fit us in where it works. We're going to be interviewing each other, talking to each other through this, trying to be as authentic and open and honest as we go through this journey. But we're also going to be bringing on guests, like we mentioned before, people who have gone through different journeys, are either perimenopausal or postmenopausal, or perhaps they work specifically with women in that age group. We're also going to be talking to people who go through other types of physical and health changes. We're definitely not going to ignore things like mental health struggles or emotional struggles, as well as maybe some genetic conditions that people are just born with. We're going to always kick our show off with the word that we're feeling most connected to. But then at the end, we're always going to finish with our favorite segment. Erin, you want to tell them what it is?
Sure. So part of what we really enjoy about midlife is that it really clarifies for you what it is you're willing to tolerate, and your boundaries become a little bit more clear to you. And so we're always going to end each segment with what we've had it with and maybe some things that we're over, or really kind of whatever's grinding our crank at the time. We will share that with you as a way to not only purge it from our minds, but to also encourage you, our listeners and our future guests, to share that back with us, because we're all over something at a certain point in the day, the week, whatever it is. And so we are going to integrate that into every show that we do.
Absolutely. All right. So, Erin, what are you over right now?
I am really over saying yes to things I absolutely can't stand doing. I need to, in year 2026, say no to more things that do not bring me joy.
I
And
love it.
throughout my life, I have said yes to a lot of things because it felt like something I should do, or somebody expects that of me. It was like an overgiving kind of part of my personality. And I'm just really over getting involved in things I don't like.
If it's not your cup of tea,
Not
move
doing it.
on,
Yeah.
right? Not doing it.
I'm going to, yeah, and I'm going to move on with my life.
Don't you wish you could go back and tell your like 20?
I do. And I mean, I have an almost 11-year-old daughter, and I've already started talking to her about it is okay to say no. It's okay to, if you don't enjoy something, that you don't need to put yourself in a situation where it's going to rob you of joy. And I got a long list of things I have said yes to that I'm like, I'm not doing it again because I'm middle-aged and I am now clear on what I will tolerate and what I won't.
Okay, that's a great one. So hopefully you out there, you are also maybe over doing things you don't want to do. Just over it. Leave it behind. We're not going to do it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Put it in a corner. Move on.
Love it. I am currently over hustle culture.
Yes.
I'm done with this whole mom boss, girl boss, hustle, hustle, hustle thing we've lived in for the past many years. I'm done with it. I put my out of office on December 10th. December 10th this year, I was like, guys, things are nuts right now. I am not going to answer your email nearly at the speed I was doing it the 11 months prior this year. I got important trumpet recitals to be at and rowing regattas to go to and holiday parties, and I'm not going to hustle I am going to actually spend time resting, which we tell
But
everyone is so important and then we don't do. Or, being in the present moment. I tried my hardest to do that this year. And so I am just done and over with this whole mentality of like, you have to just consistently make your identity about your profession,
mhm.
and being a little bit more making my identity about me, Jess, not necessarily what I do as a living.
Yeah, I love that. Being over the hustle culture. Yes, absolutely. And taking time for self care and doing it in a way that makes you feel rejuvenated. And we don't really talk about how rest is perceived as a reward and not a right. It's not a reward. You all deserve it. So do it.
Isn't it amazing how we have really taught ourselves that food and rest have to be earned? Like, this is something that is just kind of like encoded in our brains. And when we finally breaks through that barrier of thinking that you have to earn your food or you have to earn your rest, it's really amazing. It's really transformative what happens to your body, your mind, and your spirit. But it's getting over that barrier. It's so hard.
Absolutely. I think that's a great one and something that hopefully our listeners can sit up and go, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Me too. I'm tired of it. So, in a way, we're also encouraging you to give yourselves permission to just be over that as well. Just be over
Absolutely.
it.
Just be done.
Done.
Well, in these next two episodes, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into why we started the podcast, our own personal health journeys. And so we hope that you'll tune in and join us again.
Absolutely. We will see you next time.
Bye, everyone.